First, you're going to wipe it with alcohol. And then you're going to check the screen protector for breaks. If it's not broken, you can save it. How you're going to save it is by putting a knife, long knife, right between the screen protector and the glass of the iPad. And slowly you can see the screen lifting off. You want to take it nice and slow. Use your fingers at this point to just gently pry it up. If you do it too quick, it'll break. Once you have it off, you're going to save it. And you want to make sure to keep the sticky side down so that any dust in the air doesn't end up on the underside. And I'm going to set this down on a box or somewhere that I'm not touching the underneath. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I set it down right on that box over there. You can tell only the corners are touching, and I'm not touching the underneath of the screen. Now we're going to take off this screen, remove the digitizer intact. So we're not going to break it, we're going to use heat to heat up the edges and then take it off. When you heat this up, there's going to be some fumes underneath. The tape will heat up, it's going to smell not great, probably not great for you. So I'm going to wear a mask. You're going to want a Black & Decker heat gun. These are pretty cheap, get them 20 bucks a piece. You have two settings. One's hot, which is the top, and one is a little cooler, which is the bottom. They're both hot, but the top one is stronger. We're going to start with the top setting. It's going to be hot, and we're going to start with the top of the iPad, the top edge of the iPad. Bring it a little closer. You'll be able to see on the lip, there's going to be a little gap. Once you heat it up enough, it's going to open up just a little bit. And it's not there yet. We're going to keep heating it, but look for that gap. You can see that gap here now. There's a little bit of a gap between the aluminum body and the digitizer. A little bit of a gap. take our box cutter and go right in between. And we're going to heat this up and gently work the box cutter in between the digitizer and the body of the iPad. Now I'm gently twisting the box cutter to open up the screen. Okay, it's important when you're heating it up, you want to stay outside of the viewing area. You don't want to heat up the screen, the viewing area. You want to stay just on the edges. Okay, nice and easy. This is what it looks like. We managed to open it up and we saved the tape, which is on the edges. So all this tape is still there, which is great. That means the screen will re-adhere when we're ready to install the new screen. Now we're going to remove the 4 Phillips screws. I'm going to use a long knife to slowly lever out the screen. You're going to go in right on the edge of the screen, and use the edge of the knife to pry upward. Over here on the other side, you're going to use the tip of the knife to lever out the other side. This is on the top, the 2 sides on the top. Now we're going to go to the bottom, and the bottom should just come right out. Now we'll disconnect the battery. And we'll disconnect the 3 screws that are holding the LCD in place. We're going to put a guitar pick in between the battery and the motherboard. Okay, this is what it looks like. Let me give you a close-up. The 4 screws are going to be down here, up here, and up here. Take out the 4 screws. Okay. What I did before, I took the knife, go right here on the edge, and you pry it upward. Right here on the edge, you pry it upward. Comes right out. Other side as well. Here's where you use the tip of the knife. You go into the edge here, and you lever it out. Go on the edge right here, you lever it out. Screen comes out. The battery is right here. There's a battery screw there. There's three screws here. 1, 2, 3. Take those screws out. There's a metal plate. Take the plate out. And then now you put the guitar pick in between the motherboard and the battery. So you're cutting the motherboard power, very important. And now we're going to remove the LCD. There's a little push clip right here. Use your fingernail, or you can use a tool. Either way, it comes right out. And there you go. This is a bad LCD. You throw it out and put a new one in. We have the new LCD. I'm going to take it out. Make sure you only buy the refurbished LCDs. Do not buy the FOG or film on glass LCDs. The film on glass LCDs have all kinds of problems. So you're buying the refurbished LCDs. These cost more, but they're better quality. Follow the same steps. Just plug it back into the push connector on the motherboard. And then this is where you want to test it. We're going to take out the guitar clip, put the screw back in, okay, just kind of lay it down, and we're going to test it. Hit the power button, it turns on okay. Okay, now what we're looking for is any dead pixels. So this is a new screen. It comes from a storage house somewhere, a warehouse somewhere. There may be some dead pixels. Look out for those. You'll see any kind of bright little pixels on the screen. Look for any lines that are moving. So if I move back and forth, move up and down, on the digitizer, look for any lines that are moving on the screen. You shouldn't have any lines, so do a close inspection first. Everything looks good on this. This is the refurbished screen. This is better quality. It looks good. Now I also want to show you the two screw holes here and on the other side as well. These have some padding, some kind of rubber padding on the inside. These screens may not always fit 100%. These aftermarket screens may not fit exactly. So what you're going to do is you want to scrape out the extra rubber padding on this side and on this side. Scrape it out using a tweezer. Okay, so you want it as clean as possible in these two holes so that your screen will sit flat. Otherwise, if you leave the padding in, the screen will become bowed. It will arch upward. You don't want that. Now that we have our screen installed, we're going to go ahead. We tested it. Put the screws back in. Okay, push the new screen back into place. You also want to make sure that the screen or that the body of the iPad is not bent. This one is a little bit bent, so we're going to take the screen out and actually bend it back into shape before putting the screen back in. You can see this is a little bit bent. Even from the video you can kind of see it's bent like this. Right, a little bit here. These 3 holes is where they're probably going to be bent the most because this is the weakest part of the frame. So we're going to bend that back into shape. Here's what it looks like. You want to sit and use a straight edge. I'm using the edge of my table here. And you're going to bend it until it's flat. Good. Okay, check the other sides. They look okay. That looks fine. I also am hearing a little bit of a rattle coming from the power button. These power buttons tend to sink into the iPad with time. So we're going to take a hammer, going to take a little screwdriver, and you're going to get between the camera and just hammer that power button lightly. I'll show you what that looks like. This screwdriver goes right in here between the camera, right above the camera, and you're gonna hold it like this. It goes right against the power button. There's a little metal piece right there. So you're actually hammering that metal piece against the power button in the back. And the power button should now feel nice and crisp. There shouldn't be any rattling, shouldn't be any sound coming from it when I touch it gently with my finger. And that's what we do for every iPad. Now we're ready to seal it back up. You want to make sure all the tape is where it was originally, as much as possible. So I'm pulling some of the tape back into shape here. Okay, on the other side as well, some of the tape is folded over. It sticks to itself. You don't want that. Good. There is a thin piece of film very thin piece of plastic film on top of the LCD. You're going to lift that off. Once you lift that off, you don't touch the LCD. Don't get any fingerprints, no dust on it. Okay, now we're going to use our vacuum. Vacuum off all the dust. Vacuum off dust from the digitizer as well. Remember, any dust that is left will be locked in there forever. You don't want that. Good. Turn it back on. Make sure there's no dust underneath the screen. There's no hair underneath the screen. And remember, we had taken off the screen protector before. We're going to add the screen protector back on. I just wiped it off with a tissue. And vacuum it off. I want to vacuum my guitar pick. Now, it's not going to be perfect because there's maybe a little bit of dust under the screen protector, but it can't be helped. You're going to line it up as nicely as possible. Make sure it's lined up on both sides. And it looks just as new as it was before. Maybe a little bit of dust on the edges, but that's fine. Now it works again. Now keep in mind that was one where the LCD had been changed before, so that was an easy one. If you're doing an LCD change on a primary iPad or a primary LCD change on an original Apple iPad that's never been opened, it's a little bit more tricky. It takes a little bit more time to lift off that digitizer because it's much more securely attached. Now we're doing one that is a primary iPad LCD replacement. It has never been opened before. We have, like before, we used the hot setting, number 2, really hot, and we opened it up. So we have a guitar pick. We have a guitar pick under the screen between the digitizer and the body. Now we're going to use the lower setting, the number 1 setting. Okay, this is a little cooler, not as hot. And we're going to use the box cutter and open this up along the top edge. Okay, you don't want to use too much heat because then it will burn the tape and it will smell bad. You're gonna use your box cutter, go slowly cut the tape along the thin edge going down the iPad. And then we're going to gently twist the box cutter, again using the low heat. And we can slowly open up the bottom edge. We're twisting the box cutter using low heat. It's coming up, good. Now we're gently lifting the digitizer while we apply more of that heat. You don't want to hit the home button. You want to hit just the edge of the digitizer. And now it's fully open. When you're installing the screws, you're going to tighten it in a star pattern. So you're going to first put all the screws in, loosely and then tighten it in a star pattern. So the one farthest away on the right first, then closest on the left, then closest on the right, and then furthest on the left. This will make sure the screen is aligned.